Okay, tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
We're gonna go to June 24th, just this last June.
June 24th.
Like a few days ago.
Yeah. Um, Try another one.
Let's go. Second one, June 29th, like 2 days, it'll be two down on your list.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Who is Evan?
Oh, I sent a couple that day. Good job, me. So Evan is one of my best friends. There's a group of 10 of us who grew up at camp together, and I actually moved to Columbus, Ohio to be closer to 6 out of 10 of us are all here.
Whoa.
And then we always get together on New Year's and 4th of July because there's 4 birthdays in a row. It goes Jason, America, Jen, then Evan. And so it was time to send Evan a birthday card. He's a new dad, and I've known him since we were 10. So I have a lot of embarrassing photos that I can always print easily. And he just lives down the street, but I think a birthday card's really important. One time my parents forgot to send me one, and then the next year they sent me 12 to make up for it. So I try not to forget a birthday card, and I appreciate the ease of the app to do that.
What was it like moving to Columbus to be closer to this group of friends?
It was good. Evan is actually the one who said, "Sell everything. I have a mattress and a dresser for you. Just come." And so it was like his grandpa's old dresser that it was a great dresser. And yeah, so I packed up my car and I just came, and it's been great. It was I didn't put a lot of thought into the decision, and it was one of the best decisions I made to come here
What
and be
what
here with
place
them.
what place in your life were you when you did that?
I had just done 4 years with Teach for America in St. Louis, and I was in credit card debt, and I was babysitting, and I didn't have a life, and all my friends from Teach for America had moved away, and I looked up and realized I didn't have anyone here. So I'm not a tree, like I can go anywhere. And I went to Columbus, which was Midwest, comfortable, built-in friend group. And then Columbus is progressive enough and growing that it felt right. I founded a school here and still working on dating. It's like not going great, to be honest, but the friendships are going great.
Yeah, the friendships sound unreal. Of a close group like that sounds very serendipitous. What's it been like to have that group of friends for you?
It's been beautiful. Um, they're the people who know you better than you know yourself and will call you on your trash if you need to be called out, and will support me in anything I've tried on, any lifestyle or new job or anything. It's always supportive, and obviously with some like banter and joking. But we all lived, when we first got here, it was everyone was in a 4-block radius, and I made sure that my bike would hold like a pack of beers when I would want to go hang out. Now we have moved to houses and people are having kids, but um, I wouldn't move away because I know that I can still call on those people even with all the things that keep us tied up during the day.
Yeah,
And
like
when we do hang out, when we do hang out, it's like no time has passed. They're those kind of people.
What's it been like lately?
Well, I had a rough year. I left teaching. I was injured by a student. There was a lot of healing I needed to do. And they sent me cards. They brought me food. They came and hung out with me, after surgeries and stuff. And I've been thinking a lot about how in times of need, who are the people who show up no matter what? Like, we'll do a Herculean feat to get to you. Um, that's who Evan and like this group of friends is for me. But I feel like we're also at a moment where we get to not just show up in the tragic moments. Like, where's some joyful opportunities outside of these like heart-wrenching adult moments as we move into our 30s?
Hmm. What has brought that up for you? Like the shift from like, yeah, so like finding the joy to celebrate as well. Like what's happened there?
I've just been thinking a lot about, is a friend someone you see every day? Is a friend someone you just send a photo or a card to on their birthday? How much time can go between talking to someone and then they're still a close friend? I don't know if there's a handbook on that, but uh, in the Jewish world, this last year was tragic and traumatic. In the personal world, my friends have had babies, they've lost parents. And so I just have been really thinking a lot about like Jewish joy, but joy in general, and how do you make an adult friend? When I'm hanging out with people, I don't just have to talk about trauma. We can talk about benign things too.
Has that been hard?
Yeah, I I go to a lot of concerts alone because all my friends have kids, but I'm trying to go see good music. And I do the awkward line when I make friends with people out and about. I'm like, "Do you wanna be friends?" Like, I just make it real awkward. The answer is usually yes, but, it brings to question, how do you build a friendship when all of my friends I've known since I was 4 years old, 10 years old? How do you make shared memory? What I don't know, what did normal people talk about? Because my friends are crazy.
Yeah, and you have the context within your relationship with them to know kind of what's appropriate, what's allowed. And you go into a new relationship, you have no idea. And so then you start to like tiptoe kind of around, like, is this the edge? Is it further? What do you know, and you start to try to like read, read into it. But with Evan, he the new dad, but he's also this lifelong friend, and you are craving that openness and that freedom within relationship to not just relate within trauma.
Mhm.
So what do you think about when it comes to Evan particularly?
A lot of times when I enter a space with him, I'm bringing some anxiety or exhaustion, and he'll pour a glass of wine or get a second beer out of the fridge, and he'll just say, "It doesn't fucking matter," or "I don't even care that much. Like, let's just have fun." Or he'll come up with a game and he'll say, "Every time so and so says this on the TV, we drink." Um, he he helps me move forward. he makes a game or a joke in every opportunity so that you're not sitting in what was. And it really helps me shift out of like that space of being alone and having to figure out this work problem. But no, let's just spend an hour being goofy and making fun of commercials and turning things upside down, because it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a lot of things don't matter. So let's have a good time.
What's happened in y'all's relationship, let's say over the last few years, as it sounds like it went from, you know, he was a friend to he was a friend getting married to he was a friend having a child, and now he's a friend with a child, and you don't have those things to occupy your life with. How is what's it been like for you to navigate that?
Yeah, it's been hard. So he married another friend in our friend group, and I've known her since I was 5 years old. Um, and so group dynamics have changed, and she and I are separately close. And, I'm Auntie Lou to the baby. Um, but I feel like he and his wife, Whitney, I feel like they hear me when I ask for connection. We used to, when it was 10 of us and we were single, we'd pour 10 drinks. And then people started coupling up and you'd see the couple start pouring for each other. And Whitney and Evan heard me when I was like, what happened to us all taking care of each other? Um, and so, yeah, Evan makes sure I get a drink poured for me.
Mm. What um what has that meant to you?
I think that my emotional response is clear. Um, I feel heard. I feel taken care of. And I feel like our relationships can change, and that like not non-romantic love is really important between me and my friends, and it exists. Um, and we've always been buddies. So I've worked really hard to maintain that in these different stages. And I feel like Evan showed up too, like willing to maintain friendship as our lives change and we're not camp counselors at the pool anymore. So maybe that's the answer to like, how do you make friendships? Like, you have to make new memories, you have to adjust. But I feel like when I ask for something or have a need, um, he and Whitney listen and show up, and then I can do the same in return, whether that's through this card or I just drive the 3 minutes further to get to their house.
What who taught you that? Who taught you that it's okay to ask?
I think I just did it because I had needs that weren't being met. So I started talking about it.
Where did that come from for you? Like what gave you that permission? I don't know. What gave you that
Mm-hmm.
permission you like to do that?
Mm. It's a great question. I've always had, I mean, my parents were great. Maybe I was the youngest, so like maybe they didn't attend to all my needs. And so I sought that out in other adults. And then I think social media has played a big part in like, how do you take care of yourself? How do you take care of others? I've used it actually to like heal unhealed parts of me and see how other people go about the world and building their lives. But to answer your question, I gave myself permission when I'm not happy or when something's not working. I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to seek out the pieces that can support me. I guess I'm really lucky that that didn't push away my friends. It actually brought them in. But I refuse to go through life not being real and not telling people that I love them or telling them what I need. And in turn, they should tell me too.
Have they?
Yeah. I'm the kind of person when I show up, people like divulge to me. um, so I do think that they, yeah, like feel open and comfortable with me and let me into maybe spaces they might not let other people into in their heart. But
What's it been like? What's it been like kind of managing that space where, you know, you're trying to make new friends, you're trying to fill your life. You have these amazing people who have their time essentially full, and you're, I'm sure, having moments where you're, you know, jealous or envious that like that, you know, their time is full already, you know, their time is kind of spoken for. And so how, yeah, how has how, but also they're there for you still. So how has that been to kind of have both?
yeah, it's been hard to navigate. And sometimes I retreat into my head and into my room at home and come up with stories in my head about people's intentions. Um, and then the minute I leave that retreat and talk to the people, um, intentions, and it becomes clear like what's real. Um, so yeah, I think I'm just always seeking connection because it grounds me to reality.
Totally. Cool. Well, I wanted to wrap this by giving you some reflection that I think I heard you say that I think could be kind of cool to hear back. One
Yes,
thing
please.
yeah, the little nugget of gold. I mean, obviously your friendships are gold, but you already know that. But the thing that you said, which came up, was that, you know, maybe the way to make friends is through is by having, you know, you said, I think you said like creating memories together, you know. And what came up for me when you said that was like, yeah, and you do that by kind of having these experiences together, you know. And I can relate to that because it's kind of weird, right? It's like you have these like bumps, like we bump up to people, we bump into people. It's like, oh yeah, we're at a concert together, that's a bump, right? And you kind of have this like inclination that there's something there, but it's just a bump. And it's like, what if then you created another experience? There's like, hey, want to go to X, Y, or Z thing, right? Another experience. And it's like now that bump has this time to form into like a thing, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
like the more you do that, the more like a friendship truly grows. And maybe that's, you know, you came in defining what is a friendship. Maybe a friendship is like two people that have lots of shared experiences together, you know, that characterizes their context for each other. And within those experiences, you kind of have this spontaneity, right? To like not just like wonder where the boundaries are, but truly experience boundaries together, you know, and kind of spontaneously find each other's boundaries through spontaneous experiences that happen while you're at whatever the arboretum or wherever the experience might
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's what you have to do. It's like, yeah, you had camp growing up because your parents like shoved you into camp, you know, and you had no choice in it. So it was kind of like just happened. And now as an adult, you are the parent. And so you're like, okay, inner child Tomer, you're going to go to the arboretum with your new friend. And I'm like, you know, freaking out and like all that. But
Yep.
you
Yep.
have to be both in your life now.
Yeah. That's exactly. Thank you for saying that. That's occupies a lot of brain space for me.
Cool. Well, thank you for the time and the share. I thought it was beautiful and it was heartwarming, you know, and I got emotional when, you know, when you talked about getting your needs met and asking for them to be met. I mean, what a near and dear experience to my heart that is, because I'm also in a, you know, certainly in a place where it's like past relationships, you know, that I have much more access to that I don't foster, you know, and without fostering them and you don't foster them because you're like, I don't know if this is gonna support me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but actually go in and ask you know, with there's certainly discernment, you know, you got to know who you're asking, and I'm sure you use that. But I just wanted to tell you that that was really brought up some real good feelings in me, a lot of good nostalgic feelings for being heard and responded to, which I think is something we crave and fear a lot, you know, fear of
Mm-hmm.
rejection, yeah, in that moment. So I'm happy we did this.
Thank you for letting me be me. I felt safe, so I just went for it.
Sick. Awesome. I'm gonna not forget to hit stop on the recording because if I just hang up, it like loses the recording. And
Oh,
this has been a great one. Thanks, Leslie. Nice to meet you. And
you too.
you've you've added a strong thread to this fabric. I appreciate you.
Appreciate what you're doing. I support it, so I'm in however I can be.
Thanks. I appreciate it. And yeah, I might reach out. I'll let you know how it goes and you'll hear about it, I'm sure.
Deal. Did you stop the recording?
Yeah, right. Exactly. I know. I'm like, that was time to hit end on the call.